Marble Valley Regional Transit District Board of Commissioners, regular meeting for Tuesday, November 18th at 10:05 a.m. Do we need to do introductions?
I think so.
Yeah, that'd be helpful. Yeah, why don't we start with Albert? We'll go around the rooms and go online.
Albert Wentz, town and property rep.
All right, for the public.
Oh, I thought you were gonna be doing Jim, town of Killington, select board member. Yeah.
Like I said, with me, hello, my name is Stacy, and I'm the HR manager.
Transportation program manager with Regional Planning Commission.
Deb Meehan, the chair of the board and also the director of the Regional Planning Commission.
I'm sorry, it's Deborah.
Deb, yes. And then online, we have Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Whiting with VTrans, Public Transit Program Coordinator.
Thanks, Jeremy. And Matthew.
Good morning. I'm Matthew Patry. I'm the Director of Student Activities for the Vermont State University System, and I'm stationed at Castleton.
Great. Thank you, Matthew.
It's on to secretary.
Yeah. All right, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the November 18th agenda unless there are any changes.
There is a
Okay.
change, yes. The cost allocation methodology will need to move to next board meeting.
Okay, we will remove the cost allocation methodology from the agenda.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda.
As presented.
As-
Motion by Jim, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Albert, any discussion or debate? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Next, we'll entertain a motion to approve the October 21st minutes. Motion by Jim, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Albert, seeing a theme here. Any discussion or debate? All those in favor?
The thing being, we go along.
Yeah. Any opposed? Okay, we are open to the public. Is there any public present that would like to speak to items that are not on the agenda?
There is couple things to talk. One, I am still keeping the transit center clean. I use my gloves and stuff, so that's okay. Another thing, the drivers are telling the passengers one thing and they're saying another. It's like, when you stop, that's not a stop, yes, it's stop, and it can be confusing. Okay.
So that's nothing, that's inside business,
Yeah.
it's not the board's.
Purview.
So,
Okay, anything else?
No.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, next is policy board renewal.
Tom's gonna put that up on the screen.
We're all a little sluggish today, including CJ.
To my email directly.
Okay,
You wanna resend it to him right now?
can do that.
And then I think there's somebody waiting in the lobby. Oh, they let Billy in. Yep, they Billy.
I do.
Beachy.
Wrong.
Yeah, it's just last week. That's a level of desperation that,
Volunteer.
yeah, so it's emergency services, it's extreme. Spring. Now.
No, actually.
There we go.
Yeah.
It's not-
No.
We go ahead and we'll share this for everyone.
Raise.
It's not bad.
You
just 65.
What'd you say?
She's like, why do you do 65 like that?
That's 30.
Yeah.
We were talking about you.
Yes, of course.
Alright.
Okay, so this was originally reviewed, had 3 items on it, policy change proposals that we had. We are holding, number 3 to work on it a little bit more, but 1 and 2 were seen by the executive committee and, approved to move forward to the board. So if you could just scroll down a little bit, the only changes are the highlighted pieces for the terminology of full-time year-round employee status. We added, as you can see, it must be pre-approved by the employee's supervisor. And that all employees will be expected to be scheduled as close to 40 hours as possible, even though 30 hours will be the full-time status.
Can you give us just a little high level background as to like what sort of necessitated the policy changes and sort of how you're aligning that with
Someone's hands up.
updates?
Chad, you wanna go? Yeah, go ahead.
One of the things we noticed in payroll, because we were forcing people to do 40 hours, even if they had 39 hours, we were taking away one of their PTO hours to make them up to 40. So people could lose their entire PTO just by bumping them up by an hour, 2 hours. So we decided that really wasn't correct. Also, full-time status to get benefits according to the ACA is 30 hours.
Right.
And most companies now go with 30 to 32 hours as a required full-time status. And then obviously, because of our schedule, we need people here 40 hours. We were instructed to make sure we had the wording there that you were expected to work the 40 hours a week, but full-time status would be considered 30. That way, if one odd week somebody has a doctor's appointment or something and they only work 33 hours, they don't have to, use the PTO to make that up. And also, we don't have to track it. Because right now we have to track, we were tracking whether somebody had 38 hours average or 39 or 40, and it really,
Now, is there a distinction between exempt and non-exempt employees in this definition?
I don't really think so, because exempt employees, according to FSLA law, we can work an hour a day and it's a full day. And really the only time you get hit for PTO is when you take a actual full-time day away from office. So whether we work 100 hours a week or 20 hours a week, we get paid the same thing. And I think based on I think FSLA, which exempt employees, really, you're taking in your higher level and it's like, you're gonna do your job. And
Until-
we shouldn't have to babysit you and give you strict, this is what you need to work.
So this will not be relevant for non-exempt.
No,
So there's somewhere in this thing, I think Devin's coming out, this is for full-time year round, it's 30 hours and more.
Salaried employees.
And then there's a salaried employees, and somewhere there should be something that states salary bar to get away, and that's the exempt and non-exempt.
the old policy said that salary people had to work 35 hours.
Yeah.
And when I first started working here,
But what I'm asking,
yeah,
it's just saying full-time year round, so where in the policy is salary?
it should say, I don't know, there's an area there that says something about 35 hours, but I think we were just gonna remove that.
What I think I'm hearing is add to this that this is, or have it under the section of hourly employees.
Yes.
And
Right.
then it's not exempt, and then differentiate the salaried employees. So this will be,
That's what I'm asking for.
yes.
Right, so, and just to be clear, so the 30 hours minimum is 4 hourly or non-hourly?
Or hourly.
Hourly employees, not
Okay.
exempt.
Okay, and the reason is they're only getting paid for what they work, but if there's a gap, they don't have to use PTO. Got it.
The old
That
policy
makes-
said they had to use, unless it was a scheduling issue that was our fault, they had to use PTO
Yeah,
to
that's
get
silly,
themselves up to 40.
right, if they're not getting paid for, I mean, I guess they would be getting paid for it, that's the
Right.
difference, but.
But then
Okay.
we have no PTO left.
So this is. I don't really care if it's FT, full-time year round, 30 hours a week, you should be getting some kind of benefit with it. And this is saying for full-time, you get the benefit, that's all.
Yes.
Okay, that's it. So then, somebody that comes on seasonally, okay, because it's not full-time year round. They should still, if they're in for like the winter months that are 6 or 7 months, and if they're working a minimum of 30 hours a week. In my mind, and this is the board discussion, okay, in my mind, those people should still be getting some kind of sick time for each day that they
Well,
work. No, but.
They're eligible for the Vermont sick leave.
Yeah.
Make sure you give us 40 hours.
I want to make sure it's a plus an hour balance, okay, that's all, that's all.
No, Jim, that's a great point, because the law changed a couple years ago to
Yeah.
require part-timers.
So, but you want that in your policy, so when you give it to your employees, that they understand that they can get sick time, and I would think also, if someone's working 6 months and putting in 30 hours a week, they should get a vacation day per month or something like that.
There you go.
Okay,
That's built in.
okay, I don't see it yet. in-
Well, this is the
Okay.
policy change for the hour,
Just, yeah.
the benefit type section.
Okay,
So this feeds into the entire employee handbook.
okay.
Yes,
Okay, so this is a benefit right now too.
yes.
It's not a benefit, but it's shaping it out to be.
And other members might disagree with me on this, because some of you might print these and be like, what the hell, I don't want to print 40 pages each time, but I think it would be nice to see. I love how you pull these out and we can see them directly, but then see how they fit into the entire employee handbook.
Okay.
Even if it's a link versus like an entire attachment.
We can start doing it digitally.
Yeah, that'd be
So-
perfect.
So I think like this conversation that started turning into the salaried employees. And I don't know if there's something in there, but I think you really should have in here, putting out so a salaried employee understands. And not just a salary, because then you're gonna get an FYTR saying, well, that person was putting 28 hours this week and didn't see they put in 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
Just be clear.
Okay.
People look at us, people, they check, see hours.
So the highlighted section is the main policy change.
And then that's, yes, the top one did not change, and so that was approved by the executive committee.
Yep.
And, right, so are we going to be able to approve this, or do
Yes.
we want to see it in? Okay.
No, I think we can approve it. Are we looking to review what was included in that packet, the shift differentials policy comparison?
So
Or is that-
this will go into effect January 1st and all, January 1st as well, with shift differentials. I'll give you the long painful history of the past few weeks.
Oh, yeah, you told us that executive committee, but.
Yeah, well, came in and said they could, QuickBooks Time could not fix the shift differentials. We have too many, and the problem is they, if a holiday falls on a Friday, we have a holiday shift differential. Then we also have first and second, third shift. The computer cannot pick between the two of them. So it was a nightmare. So they worked 3 hours in first shift and 4 hours in second shift. But then they had the holiday shift differential, the computer would just blow up. So, IUFO came in and said, well, they think they could do it, but they couldn't. After a few weeks, it was just a nightmare. So we have gone with the plan where we are going to eliminate the shift differentials that were occurring for 3 different shifts. We actually only have 2 shifts. Rarely if ever do we hit the 3rd shift, so we're eliminating the 3rd shift. And people are gonna have flat rates for first and second shift. And this is how it used to operate here apparently years ago. So you have a flat rate for first shift and a flat rate for second shift. The majority of people, and it's gonna work by the majority of hours. If the majority of their hours are over 50% or in second shift, they'll get paid second shift.
Great.
So the holiday falls on.
The holiday will still have a $5 differential. Okay, the holidays and weekends will still be our $5 differential.
That will take priority over the shit.
Where I've seen some companies do it, a holiday falls on Monday, it's after work, then they give you the choice to either have off the Friday or the Tuesday. Have you ever thought of that?
I've been places like that as well. We bank it. We give people the choice right now. If they have to work the holiday, they can either take the 8-hour holiday pay in addition to the money they're making, or they can bank it and use it at their leisure.
Town of Killington or.
Yeah, that's what we do.
We say, if a holiday falls on your work day, then you get to either take the day before or the day after as the holiday.
I don't know, that would probably be terrible for scheduling around.
Yeah, we do it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it works for the town of Killington, but not work for here.
Yeah.
I just,
You have like 5 employees.
Yeah. We let them bank it and then we add that 8 hours to their PTO, but we give them the choice. They can either bank the 8 hours and we put it towards their PTO balance, or they can just take the money and run with it.
So banking 8 hours, like if it's a holiday and I'm supposed to get paid time and a half following the FTSLA, whatever, is it really legal for me just to say as a company that you're working on that, Thanksgiving always falls on a Thursday, so we'll take that. You're working Thanksgiving. I'm only gonna give you 8 hours of bank time. Should we be getting?
We don't pay
12
them, we
hours.
don't pay them.
Oh, okay.
We pay.
Or
They're getting their days paid.
Well, okay, good. That is the question. I'm just aware you're paying time and a half to us, so.
They're getting 8 hours plus their $5.
Okay,
Well, I think any policy change that makes things much more predictable and easy on the admin is a great choice. So are we looking to approve both of these policies?
Now, this would have been, correct if IUFO had come through with what they were working on.
Gotcha, so there's gonna be a revision.
There's gonna be a revision that we're moving to just the flat wage, first and shift, second shift wages.
Gotcha, thank you. So with the proposed changes to the handbook as presented under the.
I got one last question.
Go ahead.
Underneath the FLSA rule, the last sentence there, status is evaluated quarterly. What is, something just sticks in my head, I haven't looked at it in a while, but the 30 hours, let's say somebody misses like 2 weeks, it's like if they're going to be working 30 hours for within the next 6 months or something like that, I believe that FLSA.
Well,
I don't believe it's,
most people who miss 2 weeks have,
PTO.
they have PTO to use, and if for some reason they're taking unleave pay, we have to take that into consideration. We have to remove those 2 weeks as a calculation.
should get my question here, because it says quarterly, and I think it's 6 months out.
Okay, yeah, that's how we used to do it, and I think,
If we're gonna
Yeah.
follow FLSA. I'm just-
yep, that was, yeah.
So if we do approve this policy.
I'm gonna
we
make
can
a
do-
motion to approve this policy change upon checking
Pending the
FLSA
compliance, fine, that's fine.
on a quarterly or a 6-month basis.
Okay, so we have a motion. Is there a second? Second. Second by Albert. Let's keep this train rolling. Any discussion or debate? That's right.
So you folks can.
All those in favor, please say aye.
I
Any opposed?
just don't want to come back here and say, oh, it's 6 months.
Yep, no, that's fair, that's fair. So board has approved the policy update. We moving along, we're right on time now, we've skipped the cost allocation methodology. Is there, do you want to speak to that all, saying it's coming in a future month?
I
Or
can, so the cost allocation.
Well, I guess it's coming in your executive director's report. All right, we'll get into that, sorry, I can read, I just choose not to sometimes. Let's jump into financials then, we, in the packet was included the P and L. So we'll turn it over to Jade and the finance team.
We're finished up with, September. I believe without the consideration of depreciation, which we don't consider, I believe we're down about 122,000 for the 3 months. We are right now, everything has been submitted to the state through September and most of October outside the state. So we are back on track with billing. We have money in the bank. We have. And we are just getting started, closing October. In addition to all the changes we've been making inside of QuickBooks and everything else going on with all of the payroll things we are trying to fix. We have also been instituting a new stats software for ridership and mileage called 4D. It has been giving Christy and Stephen Fowle, let's just say, gas. And finally, today, we were able to print the reports we need to do our allocations and to get October billed to the state. So we are coming along slowly but surely. We still have a lot of little hiccups to get over, but there is a lot that we dig out, and every time it seems we start something, we find something. So we are still diligently working with the auditors as they have brought to light some issues for last year. That we are working with them to rectify, fix, and making sure everything is kosher going forward. Some billing issues with the state based on allocations. But it's not anything that's going to harm us to any degree. It'll probably be a note on the audit, of course. But we're moving along, step by step. And with Stacy coming on board, it's gonna make the payroll burden a lot easier. And so I'm sure Stacy will talk to you about the software we're implementing in HR that's gonna help both of us immensely. So.
So for September 1 through 30, we're showing a net income of negative $200,214.95.
I apologize. Can you put that up on the board, Heather?
Yep.
Thank you.
Here's an extra copy for you.
Yeah.
Faith talk.
For one. Sorry, I was on the Stephen. Okay, yeah, so that's the net income, taking into consideration depreciations are actually we're at negative 92%, 92,000, excuse me.
So the depreciation is non-cash.
No. it's
So
not
the boss, up to 3 boxes up in the full net operating income.
Is
Negative
negative 92.
92,035.
Yep.
So how does that compare? Are we seeing a pretty consistent operating income in the negatives? Because when I look at the July 1 through June, September 30, we're at 127 to 38, is that right?
Yeah, I think we're about there, but taking into consideration July, August, and September are slow months, because I did look back on last year and the year before. Winter is when we start making our money. We'll start having the money coming in from Killington, which I'm sure Jake will talk about at some point. We have, money coming in from those kind of sources, but also we just have so much more volume of work. So
Okay,
we bill more to the state because.
so September though generally was a much greater negative month if we're at
Yeah.
127.
And actually, all things considered, September wasn't that bad, and the reason is, I started looking, going, something doesn't look right. In July, AP had billed our insurance, which is about $112,000 every quarter.
Mhm.
They billed it September, it should have been October 1st. So we got hit twice in one quarter with our insurance bill, the way they booked it, so.
Okay, so,
I told them to be careful with that in the future to make sure, and I also asked the insurance company to tell us monthly. To spread out, because it does make it kind of difficult when they don't spread out that big of a hunk. So,
oh, totally, yeah,
Yeah.
like if, you know, what will be ultimately helpful, I'm not asking you to do this yet, because I know you guys are working through things, but when we get, I love the P and L, this is super helpful, but then one step further of like actuals versus budget. And that line, we'd see, oh, it's way over budget, it's because they billed ahead of time.
we are working on putting the budget in. When the budget was done, we didn't have QuickBooks, and we
Right.
have a completely different chart of accounts. I'm about halfway through.
Nice, okay,
I'm trying to make time in between the other
great.
dumpster fires
Yeah.
that we're putting up. So, but we are about halfway there.
Okay,
Yeah, me and Jay have been working really closely on that.
so through a quarter, we can say we're about negative 127,000.
Yeah.
So if that were to continue, we'd be looking at about 500,000-ish in the hole on the year.
We are taking steps to take care of some of those issues.
Yeah.
We have
I'm
reduced
guessing
staff,
we're gonna talk to-
yeah, we've reduced staff in the finance office. We have also worked closely with Ron to take a look at like the on-call. And, you know, just to kind of reduce that, the average wage of the on-call, and how many hours we're paying for people for on-call. We're just taking a look at everything.
Awesome.
As we're going, the shift differentials are gonna make a big difference. So,
Do other folks have questions or comments on the financial report?
So nobody does like it.
Go ahead, Jim.
Okay. So the billing that you're talking about, because this is in a call. Okay, when you say you're finding you're billing the state.
Yep.
The billing that you're talking about, are they in here, or are these things that you
Yes.
found that's not? Because sometimes someone could say they're billing and, oh, we forgot to bill them, and it's not in the report.
No, this year we
They
are
show
fine,
there.
this year are fine, we found an issue, the auditors found an issue in the first 6 months of last year. Where it was sort of a duplicate billing in one line, but a lot of it, because it was the end of the year, a lot of it was a low match.
Right,
So we didn't remove the bill the state too much, we're working on that and
okay.
but, and then we have to, so we
Then-
go to the state and ask them what we're gonna do about it.
I'm gonna make a statement here, and it's. I came on this board, I think, just about a year ago, and. Some of you folks weren't here at this time. We had a group here that were not. Finance people, really, they stepped up, and I'm still gonna sit here and say. Those that stepped up, they did a great job to keep us going forward. Okay, they did a great job keeping us forward. They are not accountants, they're not finance, they're not HR, they're not executive directors. They did the best that they could, and
They
they
did.
kept this place going. And I hate it, and I don't see it from this new group, but I'm just gonna lay it out there that this is not a blame game for people that kept this company going, because it's very easy. No, I'm saying
No,
you're
no,
you're not doing it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, please.
You're not doing it. I'm standing
Okay.
up for the people that
Yeah.
kept this place going for 2 years.
Yeah.
And just saying they did the best that they could. And of course, when a new group comes in, you're going to find something that's in there. But Devin saying $500,000, but you had said the winter months make up. So what I would like to see is when you get into like a September period, that you know, or you get into, say, April, start of a new quarter, okay, the second quarter of the year or whatever, in a calendar year. Say, okay, we're at this law, we're burning through this year, but then see when it starts going positive, because it's not really right to say, we're gonna run a $500,000 because the winter time should start taking that down.
So you're talking about like a cash flow.
A cash flow projection, because this is a nonprofit, so we could be negative 127 now, and then all of a sudden at the end of December, you may be flat, zero. That's the goal at the end of the day, or the end of the year, to be zero in this type of business.
Yeah, projections are part of our plan.
Right. Yeah, so I don't want to jump ahead and say we're gonna do $500,000 in the whole. And my last question is, with all this here, is there still $3 million in some seed?
No, there's 912.
Okay,
If you look at the balance sheet.
Okay.
Yeah.
and just the way my mind thinks, there's $900,000 in there. If we were to take the $500,000 quick calculation, we've got 2 years of fixed expense.
Ish, yeah, depending on what our funding stream is.
And there's some good stuff going up in Killington, shop there, use of funds.
Okay. I just found what you just said, though, with the 900,000, when it's grant season and it's time for us to apply, we do have to be stationed to say that we're going to be able to come up with a local match, with matching the federal funds that we're drawing down. If we start drawing on that in chunks of $500,000, our capacity to draw down funds is going to.
Yeah, but this comes back to the discussion that you've been having with me and Matt Kinsman and Chris Conlon up at the resort. A lot of people don't understand the match in all of the towns. And it's about time people understand the match that we have to come up with it somehow. The bus is not free.
Municipal.
The bus is not free. There's a match, and who has to come up with the match? The towns that use it.
And you look at fair share funding, found that most towns are severely underbilled and, so.
Yeah, whole new formula. I mean, there's not a formula now, right? It was,
We do have a formula, and I'd be happy to share that with the board, if we want to review that in the next board meeting.
interesting. See, the allocations, municipal allocations now are based on a formula. This board was always told there was no formula, that it
I
was.
think it's $1 a person, because Killington is $1,200. That's, that $1,200 is what,
That's not the formula we're going.
well, I'm just being told, I'm not being, I'm telling you that we kick in like $33,000, but 1,200 of that is the appropriations of whatever the year. And the other funds, the 17,280 and the 14,840 or whatever it is between winter and summer. That's what the town kicked in for nighttime buses, which we're working on with this thing.
Right.
But what I don't think a lot of people understand, I'm gonna use my town, Killington, is that there still is like a 20% match for the daytime stuff. But it's not the total $2 million for running daytime for Killington. It's got to be split up amongst all of the towns.
And just to add confusion to that whole thing, the idea behind this 20% match is still Marble Valley coming up with another 30% match. Because to actually operate the buses, which is the majority of the expense, with a 50-50 match. So it's even, it's pretty heavy and complicated.
So I'm just gonna add my comment once again, just saying that I'm gonna say thank you to the folks that fit into shoes that they never went for. That was not their job. And I just wanna say thank you.
And as
And I would like that to be in the minutes that you think of. Thank all those that were here and not here. But I'll keep it until we get to this point where hopefully you folks can take it to the next step and make it last forever.
Here. Completely agree. Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Patty and team. So we have Q1 financials set. Those are for informational purposes only. We'll move forward with the executive director.
So I had been hearing a lot of, not a lot of talk, but some talk about the performance of Proctor and really we're going to move forward with that. Took a look at it, the numbers have, the ridership numbers have risen to a point where it's moved from being in the upper acceptable range to the successful range. So evolution of ridership and where people move to work, live and play has changed. So we're looking at that a little different. It's, the state has even questioned, what we were going to do with that as our weekly to all of our routes. So, we can bring in some ridership numbers if the board is interested. But just to report that the Proctor performance is in the successful range. Killington has been a very hot ticket item. Lots of conversations going on. It is the winter season coming up. We did raise our rate to, what our operations, are mostly, expensing at. Winter time, it's actually closer to $137 an hour. That's irrelevant for this conversation. We've been in conversations with the town. The town of Killington approved the removal of the last group of the expansion of the RKC during winter, which is
Midnight,
funding from,
from K1.
so one is already a gift. 11 to 1.
These are what the.
And so that is a definite route change that we're going to be having published.
We were having 8 riders a week. Could have been one person.
The town has moved the funds from focusing on that route generously to the rest of the RPC, so that's very nice. There's going conversations about what the schedule is going to look like. Right now, there's funds trying to be raised, and you may have more information about that, but we've been in touch with the KPAA, with the resort at Killington, and have shared back and forth some plans on running the 8 p.m. loop and the 10 p.m. loop as the night service. And right now we're just trying to generate funds for those. Kind of at a crux on what we're going to do here. Unfortunately, as much as we'd like to run this fall, we don't come up with funding. We're going to have to scale back to just the RKC commuter that runs 12 hours.
So this is where I'm gonna jump in. Because I've been in on a meeting with you, KPA, select board.
Yes, you've been
And
there.
then also-
Place out of bed.
Okay, so my understanding is that Matt Kinsman put together a schedule for the winter. Is that acceptable? That pricing that we put down?
I haven't heard anything about a solidification of funding.
I'm not, the funding will be there, but the question is, the bus route, the timing that Matt Kinsman put together with Chris Condon and you, as a lead. Where it comes out to be whatever price it is, 70,000, 90,000. I don't know which one, there's so many different numbers out there right now. But I think it's somewhere around 72, I think. The which, 70, okay.
By the time they go, it's like 49.
Yeah, yeah, so, I'm waiting for if that's acceptable, and then as a town member or a select board member, my concern is that we also put out something for the summertime, saying starting like, I don't know, June 20 something and not having it running in April and May. And I think that's like, I think it shows about a total of maybe $100,000 to get us through this winter and next summer. And once I have that number, I'm pretty sure that I can get between the town, the resort, and including resort and all the businesses, to come up with the $100,000 to get us through this winter with the schedule that we gave and the summer that Matt Kinsman presented.
Is that,
So you're waiting for us to say there's funding. I'm waiting for you to say the bus can run these hours.
we sent it. It's been sent that.
We can run any hour you want, Jim. Who's got money?
Okay.
We can't run a bus for.
I haven't seen, you might, maybe I got missed out of the loop on the last bunch of emails.
Okay.
But,
Bring it to
you
you.
know, all I'm saying is, I just need to know the dollar amount to get us through this winter and the summer. With the hours that Matt Kinsman and Chris Condon came up with, because they're working with the KPAA, with their folks.
They wanted the 7:00, 7:15 from here, so it'd be 8:00 on the mountain, and then 9:15 from here and 10:00.
Yeah, no, I saw it, I just need to know. In my mind, I think it's about $100K a year. I just need that confirmed from the boss. I'm not gonna take that confirmation from Matt, even though I trust them. And I'm not gonna take it from the KPAA, even though I trust them. You're the boss, get me the dollar amount to run the winter and the summer. So then we can come up with a real plan for all the businesses to start kicking in.
We were focusing more on the winter at this time, pulling money from the summer.
The winter's, I can tell you this right now, the winter's gonna be fun. Okay? Talk about that later. The winter will be fun, but I want to make sure that the summer. 'Cause I don't wanna be, I hate having rush time. I don't like this. And you don't like it. I would rather have a year for us to figure out and what the true cost is. And so if it's not $103 an hour, but that's what we were told. Now it's $137 an hour.
Yeah.
And for this next year, whatever, it's the 103. But the following year, we just need to roll the right number so we can come up with. And then we go back to, then there's the 20%. What is our portion of the $2 million for the daytime? Sorry, this is too many numbers right now.
Yeah.
Can you sort of high level distill this down for us? You guys got in the weeds there and sort of lost me. So the status is,
So the status right now at this very moment, assuming that the funds are,
They're available.
that they're available, and the KPAA did also send out a donation platform to everybody, and I don't know how many people they sent that to, but there was this donation aspect there. Right at this very moment, we have 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. we're running. And then this extension piece is the 8 p.m. loop, which goes from 8 to 10, and the 10 to, or in the,
7
do I help you with those two?
7 to 9, 9 to 10 on the mountain.
So 7 to 9, 9, 11,
That's about 77K
correct,
for the winter.
correct.
And I'm telling you, the funding's there. Just,
I don't think they have a choice, right? I mean, like, it's a critical need at this point.
But when you
There's
say
no
they don't
alternative.
have it's a choice. They don't have
Well, I
it.
know, but like, it'd be detrimental.
The town's gonna make a big contribution, I'll leave it at that. It's really hard asking businesses at this time, even if it was June or July, or whatever. You know, and there was some lost communication, we're just moving.
Well, I
We'll
think
have
this is
$77,000. But I really wanna know the summer route that Matt and Chris put together. Cause I need a year for the business to really kick in, what they should be kicking.
I did look at it, it does need some revisions, so it's not done yet. Like they sent me was missing, the summer service has just around like 234 days. They were basing it on 112 and 85,
Yeah,
because they were
because it's,
breaking the rest of the.
well, it's the same, they don't need it. The day after Easter until the end of June, they don't need it blossom.
You're talking about shoulder season for both shoulders. Yeah, okay.
We'll get,
Well, I think no matter what, this is probably a good test laboratory for having those conversations today, with those components, right? I know the timing and everything's not ideal, but I'm glad you guys were able to get stuff. I know it's so big. I wouldn't have today looked forward to it, even though that we're already in the hole, so that would have been bad. Well, thank you, Jim, Jay, the Killington stuff. I think that's important.
Another piece is this local match, deficit that, we're in. I've gone over the numbers, Patty and I have spent time looking at this, pretty closely. Our federal funds are, on our base grant, it is, $3.871 million. Our local match needed, to draw, these funds is $2 million, or $2,025,000. And the local match between state reserves and any other funding that we're drawing, is 1.3. There are some additions to that, which is the MTI grant that we would, were approved for. And then, I'm hoping for 100,000 in the mid-year amendment, which brings us to about negative $671,500 in local match. So breaking that all down.
Are all of these matches pure cash or any of them like global matches?
All pure cash.
You're up your cash,
Nice.
everything you build outside of the state grants.
And how did we come up with this match in the past? Or was it that?
Funding through CARES Act.
COVID,
COVID.
Yeah.
They're very different 2 years ago because of the CARES Act, because there was just a flush of cash.
most people thought COVID was bad.
It saved the bus back in 2019. The rest of this like back then. The state was aware that this was going to be an issue. And cuts were going to have to be made, and then the pandemic
It's
happened.
not just here, it's the schools, it's
So I'm
all.
not sure, also, because we didn't change service.
Right.
That's building.
As we say, I think you're saying.
I mean, we're not, service didn't really change at all. We didn't add a lot of service. We didn't.
It was your
We
funding,
removed a little bit.
Yeah.
it was your funding from the federal government, it's being taken away.
Just to add the James deficit on that 6 something, I projected our Killington inflow for this winter is gonna be around 600 some thousand, so it's like 602,000.
Good, sort of balance things out a bit.
Yeah, well, it's just. That's a separate.
So just to mess up things further with Killington pays the resort, pays certain things that you get, which has nothing to do with the match or the town or anything like that. When they have their special stuff, you're taking that in as revenue.
We use that towards the match.
Long as another World Cup or Spark.
Right.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, we don't make any.
No, I know, but you're not supposed to, you're
No,
not.
I know,
We're not in.
World Cup, we made probably $1,800.
I mean, technically, you're not a nonprofit, right? Yeah, I mean, they're like a municipality, so like they can generate revenue, they're just
So
supposed to be slightly revenue.
I've got my last, and it has nothing to do with this, it has more of how places are raising. So the KPAA is a 501c6, why, I don't know. But anyone that makes a donation to them, it's not deductible. If I got businesses to write a check to the bus, are you a 501c3 is the first question, I don't know. Don't know, but if
No,
I
you
got.
can do that paperwork.
Okay, because, so then, if it's not, then I'll take another route to the town, and then businesses can write the check to the town specifically for the bus on a line item for a donation to, so then at least the businesses can get a tax deduction. It doesn't make sense giving $500 for this business, $1,000 for that business to a place that they can't write the deduction on. I was hoping that the bus was a 501c3, but if it was, then they could write the check and specifically put on there for the Killington night, and then they would have to.
I was working on marketing as well, some different, what do we have to offer to, back to anybody who would make a contribution? So, that's in the works and on its way.
Fantastic.
I do just want to finish this off and say that, just to clarify, the local match does include the funds and an updated version of the funds, so this, though the 500, 400, that's funding from Killington is not going to wash this. That was included in that.
Gotcha.
I just wanted to share that.
Sorry.
It's all right.
I realized that.
And, with all that, it's worth about, 6,500 hours, which is equivalent to 543 days of 12-hour service, or equivalent to about 1.5 weeks. So we are going to have to look at areas that we can cut if we're going to stay afloat.
Or if you're telling me, and we're gonna look at that as a make a dollar company above cost, if there's $625,000 that we're short, we're going to need to find $625,000 amongst how many towns?
14. The total percentage. What they would propose to, I can pull that up real quick.
Oh,
That's assuming that every town said yes, and that we were able to get signatures and move forward with the.
I can tell you from our own experience last year, we doubled our dues from our towns, because we hadn't changed them in years and years. It was a significant lift. I had to go to every single town, some towns multiple times to sort of handle and explain why. And that was after producing like, well, you were one of those towns, Jim, you guys got the memo, like, we tried to, it just took a ton of time. I think we started in September or October and finished in March. So it's about 6 months of hand-holding, discussing the town to get them there. And they ultimately all said yes. So like, I think there's models out there to get there.
I just think that there's a lot of places that, you know, because they believe, you're running over to Okemo too, right?
Yep.
Okay, and there are a lot of housing places in Rutland that Okemo workers and Killington workers are using the bus, and there's a lot of housekeeping companies. And I really do, this is why I'm looking to get a year ahead to go. And then, you know, I mean, if there's no bus, they're not gonna get cleaning done. And these businesses will fold because they don't have workers that can get to work without the bus. We need to be able to go to them and say, hey, how many cleaning companies are there? And I don't know, if there's 50 of them out there and each one of them kicked in $5,000, that's $250,000. I mean, it's pretty simple. We just need a year's worth of figuring this out. I mean, there's businesses up and down where this bus runs that brings people to go shopping and everything else. And there has to be a donation thing and people have to wake up, but we're not gonna wake them up in a 3-week period.
Well, one thing I do want to bring up, and I think it'll be tabled for a future meeting, is I've been in discussions with the attorneys and engineers for the new Walmart complex. Sounds like they had spoke to you guys already. But in their transportation impact analysis, they basically pointed to a route that doesn't exist going to the mall. So I flagged it for them and I said, hey, there is no service here, so you cannot count this against your, because they were reducing their overall daily traffic totals because of that. So I have been talking to a few different players in the state about levying a transportation impact fee on Walmart to cover that extension return to the south route. It's under Act 145. It has been done before. I think it's absolutely something we should at the board and with the staff discuss, because that could help. It wouldn't be dramatic, but hey, if it's $50,000 to add one more stop on the south route or more, then I think we should do that. And given where Walmart's moving and who typically accesses Walmart, I think it'd be critical to have a bus connection there. So that's something we can maybe, Jeremy, I don't know if that's something you could support us with, is sort of understanding how to navigate with like Chris Clow and their team, the transportation impact fees.
Yeah, absolutely. We can work with you with that.
And on top of that, then the village coming into force, we're going to have to start looking at any development out there with an impact fee, because there is supposed to be a lot more busing and stuff.
Yeah.
You got to do it. So this is just really, once again, we got to get through these 12 months.
But I expect we will see that application for Walmart sooner than 12 months. So I think we need to be prepared that opportunity is when they're in the Act 250 permitting process. At least I think.
I would agree with that.
Because their permit to demo was granted, so they're gonna go through and demo the old mall. So I think they're gonna move quickly, is the point. Alright, You have cost allocation as well?
So snapshot of cost allocation is that Patty has worked with the state consultant, Stephen Falvey, very, very closely. And, after a couple of iterations, they came out with a successful methodology for this year. The state's really pushing for all agencies to move to a simplified, methodology for next year. But, so that got approved, which thus in return, closed our cap with Medicaid finally.
All right.
So,
Fantastic.
yeah, and, yeah, so we have our allocation methodology, and it's working and being used, and, it's just another win in finance.
Fantastic.
Concludes.
Any questions for Jade? Under other business, I'd like to give Jeremy a little space if there's any updates from V-Trans.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for having me. Not a lot of updates from V-Trans. However, we will be working through mid-year amendments. We're starting that process now to kind of see what providers need. On top of that, we actually found some state money, some Fed money, which we are injecting into providers' accounts to be used for admin, PM, or O&D. Not operations. So for Marble Valley, it is $100,000 in Fed and $150,000 in state funds. Yep. So the intention behind that is, and this kind of piggybacks with what Jay was saying with the local match. The intention behind that is to use those state funds for that local match as much as possible. That way you kind of hold on to the local match towards the end of the year. So it just hopefully helps. It's certainly, more is better, but we did what we could. But the intention is to hold on to those local reserves towards the end of the year. So that will be coming shortly. And that's really about it. That's kind of the big ticket item. We're still doing the community drivers campaign program, still working through that. So I know that Marble Valley is in good shape currently. So that's great to see, but we're still making the press. And that's about it from the V-Trans standpoint as far as updates, but happy to take any questions.
Jeremy, can you speak to the PTPP and that update process, if there's anything that will impact the bus or transit agencies? I have not had a chance, this is the public transit policy plan. I've not had a chance to look at it yet. I know comments are due next month.
Yeah, that is actually, unfortunately, I can't really speak to that. That's being handled by Dan and Ross. However, my eyes, I haven't really had a chance to get in on that process. But I will, I can, and can definitely report back of any updates or changes.
Is our staff planning to comment?
Based on me, I've been reviewing, I'm on page 40,
Yeah, it's huge.
the big, yeah.
Yeah,
But from what I see so far, it's a robust plan, and as I like what I see so far, it's very strong also. So I want to add a little bit with the community driver. So we have the OND program. This is our first go at fully managing that program with any partners, and it is going well. The spending was spending a little bit faster than we were anticipating it. Dan Greer from the state did come and sat with Chrissy and I and took a deep dive into where the ridership was coming from and where the main expenses were going. It is the critical care. We had it set up that critical care ridership was getting unlimited trips through OMB and 6 on top of that. So we reduced that down to just the critical care needs that they have. And then
which is dialysis.
Cancer.
Are those mainly performed by volunteer drivers?
It's a mix,
It's a
but
mix,
yeah,
okay.
it is a mix.
So I gotta imagine that any pair of vehicles would be significantly more expensive to operate.
Yeah.
Department for running down.
Yeah, they're being very cognizant on the way they're scheduling and making sure that, they're a right fit to the rider. So they're cognizant on making sure the spending is down. Our admin is, $6 on one way, so, that increased the cost plus as part of the allocation, so it has its own piece there. We also reduced from six round trip down to 4. So those are some of the changes. And also, Ross met, we have our quarterly RNC meeting, with the hospital. Ross did attend that and shared, the state's initiative to, help a collaboration between transportation and the changes that are happening in healthcare, to try to, beat the curve, so to speak, and just make sure that, we're tapping into the right resources to move forward with that. So, and what does include, that includes the community, riders. Our angle was a little different. We were looking more at the scheduling piece, and trying to see if we could group schedule, or if the healthcare facilities could identify people who, are public transit dependent.
I can't see how it can be any other way ultimately, and I know it's inconvenient, but
It's a scheduling
you
nightmare.
can't afford to keep doing it this way.
Yeah.
So with OA and D, are we basically through quarter one at a similar ridership than we were under our previous partner scheme,
Chrissy would be so much better to speak on this. I think we have more ridership. We definitely obtained more members. Tyler, do you have?
I don't have the numbers on it, but I
But you
think
know
that
what?
increased a good amount, especially in the first 2 months.
Okay, so our membership went up.
Yes,
Um,
nothing the band total is.
yeah, total ride went up, yeah. But the overall usage of the 6 trips was, it was 4 or less, was majority. So, the impact of the change won't impact too many people, but the critical care is just,
Oh, yeah.
and we're going farther, dialysis. So,
It's a problem.
Chrissy's doing a great job managing.
Well, kudos, we knew it would work.
Yeah.
And that's because we had confidence in you all, so.
I mean, I can't believe that we told the state we had enough volunteer drivers. I've never said those words in my time in transportation.
Yeah, early on too, it wasn't, 6 months in, it was 1 month then. Yeah, so I'm super curious. Let's go to another meeting. All right, Bill, we'll see you. Have we heard from our partners? I don't know, maybe. Because the world was gonna be on fire, and I think it's important for us to circle back and be like, hey, search rate, the increased ridership, we're doing well.
And Meredith, because she's part of our quarterly RNC meeting, so she's heard about it. Her program's still going strong. They redeveloped the program. We do group trips with Castleton, so that's still a good partnership. Understanding is that we're going to do, all the trips that we had discussed, and then they're going to start adding a 20% match for FY 27. So that'll be great.
Nice.
Yes,
Nice.
more funds for OED next year.
Any,
On that note, I was gonna say also, I think we're doing it, I already Christie, as Jeremy, that restarted the committee, it was originally building a committee, so kind of took a breather and kind of helping to restart that from the ground up. Excellent, and part of this individual folks.
What committees?
Was that,
What committee?
was the older adults and persons with disabilities transportation, committee, which was sort of the group that helped sort of, you mentioned, provide information to all of the parties of the program. So it'd be turning into what's called a regional mobility committee, sort of just to ask for returns to incorporate Medicaid as well as appropriating truck access and into.
okay,
Oh, quick question, I guess, and I don't know where you, stepped out of the process, but, the signs. Right, that was a topic of discussion at one of my first board meetings on, just kind of. $50,000 set aside for that. And which is a $10,000 match, but, so we could carry it on and carry it over, but otherwise that is still there and ready to go, so I just didn't know if.
Would you want support from Ethan to get that rolling again? Because ultimately the biggest things are procurement and design, and I imagine Tyler, you're more than capable of your design.
So that did move over and we're all set there, and I just didn't know, how far in that design process we had gone. I know that we had brought it to the board. Is that something that when Tyler's working on it again?
No, I think if you just work with Ethan and make sure it's got like all the elements that we need, design wise, I think you've got a good sense for it, so.
Yeah, I think the only thing we had to change on the design previously seen was just having a little bit of white space at the bottom, for the hole itself, so that we could start up, that's right.
Oh, with that full mount.
Yes, yeah, so those are the things I'm about to come back with, but I'll.
Anything can help too, is sort of, I think one of the big elements was like, how are we gonna install these, and if we could leverage our connections with the city to get their sign team to support this, at least where they're already doing projects, they might do it wholesale. It's hard to say, it's a big effort, but that would be a huge savings.
They've always put our signs up.
Yeah,
I think they're more than willing to do it. Yeah, actually, I don't think we're allowed to touch the signs, but it was somebody.
No, yeah.
So we always just scan the signs and they put them on, so.
Yeah, perfect. Great. Anything else?
Just one thing I can't get my mind wrapped around, is the local match. How there's such a shortfall. I don't understand where the funding is coming from. And what happens if we do end up with a shortfall in that? Does the state withhold money from us?
If we have a shortfall, most likely we can't match it, we can't run it, we run out of funds too quickly. The only way to solidify we can match that is to find areas where our services are not performing. Even if it's, you find a gap in the morning and we're able to, maneuver the schedule so that we're not running maybe during that period or something like that, or move to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm just throwing things out there that we haven't gotten there yet, but those are the types of things we do. We get around $880,000 a year is about what Marble Valley's been getting in state funding, which is provided from the state for local match. And then we get all the income and all the donations and all of the contributions from each of the towns, and that becomes local match. And then we sell a bus or two and we have a $20,000 pot of money, and that's local match. And so it comes from all these different areas.
Is there a place, a site that we could go and just look to see how the local matches are? And what the funds are that are coming into the local match account? Or
If you look at the other current revenue on the P and L, a lot of that's all local match. You're looking at demand response fares, incident services, like if we provide a bus for like Castleton football game, they pay us directly. We do some advertising, we have donations, interest, municipal contributions. That way, if anybody wants to take a quick look at this is,
That's what I was asking.
yeah, these towns, these are the towns that are.
There's like 14 different towns, they just printed that off and brought it in. There's like 14 different towns and cities or whatever on there. And the total amount is something like that, I just looked at it, I think it's $73,000 or whatever that's coming in. So,
It's 78,340 for all the different towns, but
so like all the extra things that you're talking about, like the really water, assets in, and other things, that's just gravy. I mean, what we really need to be doing is going to these towns and cities, and I mean, $77,000 to be raised for a municipal bus system from 14 different municipalities.
There's 20.
Now, one of them, it's pretty sad. Okay, it should be higher than that.
Yep.
And yeah, and then when I look at it, I'm being fair here, like the town of Killington I get it, we're asking for, or the businesses are asking for nighttime buses that have nothing to do, with the town is just learning, and a lot of the businesses out there. The main thing of this bus is from whatever, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., okay? And that's where the match was. You don't have to do this 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock. But you are, and it's a service that the town is trying to find a way of paying for it up there. But everybody has to kick in, all of the municipalities. And once again, I see there is whatever, it's under unique brand. It's whatever.
One example, when we run Rutland City through the Fair Share formula, right now they're running 36, it comes to about 120, 119 or something like that, is where they should be.
Yeah, we're at 96 for them, and that'll bring, so our, like Patty said, our last year contributions were 78,340. This year with our requests and the annual report letters that went out, last week, we're looking at a contribution of 128K, so about 50K increase every year. So it's.
And I'm just saying, we still think that.
Yes, so we were concerned a little bit about jumping up right off the gun. Do you remember what my original number was? I think it was
Like 400 or something.
about half a million
Yeah.
was my original calculation, so. The idea is to raise this over time, so it's not a big impact to everybody. As well, we do need all this money, everyone else does too, so we don't want to, harbor any ill will with everybody, just.
Oh, you can hop on with any.
Well, I think
Yeah.
that was the fear as to why, we didn't make requests larger in the past was,
I
the effort.
appreciate trying to be nice. I've sat on the school board for 15 years. I've been in town stuff since 2008. You could either go at this we need the $500,000 and they're gonna complain. Or you can go at it that every single year you up it $75,000 or $100,000 and your pain is gonna be those 10 years of getting it up to $500,000.
Seriously.
That's just me with experience.
I do think, having a predictable formula does help. If you say, hey, towns, we are raising our rates commensurate with inflation at 5% year over year, then they can account for that versus like getting slapped with random updates. They're like, well, why?
Yeah, I agree with you, but it has to be like, this is not the only increase.
Right,
Here,
exactly.
and then, that letter should go out and say, we're asking for this. And to be comfortable going forward, there will be a 10% increase, taking in the inflation rate now, plus the catch up. So 5% is not going, we have to come up with a formula to get us within the next 3 to 5 years.
Might be worth talking to Cedar too, because they're the chamber.
Yeah.
And seeing, because Rutland, the city, there's a lot of businesses that rely on that service as well in the city.
If we were charging fares, wouldn't that count towards that?
Towards the match. Yeah.
I mean, we haven't been charging fares for 5 years. It's simple.
We've gone through that in many of the meetings that I've had in the last month up in Killington, so that because we charge fares. There's a cost to doing charging the fares. I really do think that, me personally, is we have to hit up the towns for a little bit more and sell them off for 10% increase each year from whatever, not 5, 10. Okay, so they know what they're doing. And I really do think we need to start going to the businesses that use the bus a lot and pushing it towards them. Or they can go out and buy a 15-seat van and then insure it and do everything else. And they can either donate $5,000 or they can go and run something that.
I mean, you go to the city of Rutland, Jim, and say, we're gonna increase your price by another 50,000, we barely squeak by every year if we're not voted down this year. Yeah, so if we get voted down, we lose that fund anyway, so how do you do that?
Yeah, you gotta be sure. You gotta play the political games.
Yeah, if there's something voted down, then you just lost the 46, you know what I mean, like, it's not easy.
And you can request.
But that's why we have to go to business and start getting, so you can take it off of the
Oh,
town.
instead of,
Oh, yeah.
we don't have signatures.
We're like,
Yeah, no, I do that push.
yeah,
Because that takes you out of, you're no longer getting line item voting.
yes,
It's just, if the whole budget passes, then you're in.
yeah.
Which is just a lot easier.
They're African.
Anyways, Benny, great point though, and I think it's something we gotta continue.
Well, I'm just wondering, Jeremy, how much would that count towards our local match, that, the fair revenue?
How much what?
Would all of the fair revenue count towards the local match, all of it? The fair revenue,
Yes.
it would. We know exactly what that fair revenue has been,
It's like 100 something,
what was it?
130 or something.
It's 12 up to 120, depending.
Yeah.
Is that after expenses or before?
That's.
That's what I'm, so you got 100,000, so how much?
Under the 50-cent rate.
By the time we're said and done, we probably end up with 6,000.
And that's at the old fair rates.
Yeah.
And the fair rates, the old fair rates were pretty low.
It's-
Very.
It's something we gotta continue to look at,
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, we've had discussions with Jade and everybody up in Killington, and discussions of like, why don't we just get somebody and go and wrap a bus? And then the conversation between my kinsman and I are like, so you're gonna tell them it costs $18,000 to wrap the bus, and then they're gonna give you $25,000, whatever. Why don't you just get $5,000?
Doesn't really make money on.
No, they don't, that's what
No, like,
people think it does, and it's just,
so the rap company makes.
yeah.
$6,000. Yeah, yes, right.
And that's all.
Alright, well, I got 11:30, so we're gonna.
I got one last thing here that I'm gonna make a statement for. I received an email and phone calls. I'm not gonna go by nicknames, I'm gonna go by, an actual name of a person here, and I don't know why I'm getting this phone call, but I'm going to stay away. First name, I believe, is Alexis Moore or something like that. And I've been being contacted about the loss and getting pictures and stuff, and because I live in Killing. I don't understand why I'm getting contacted. I live in the town of Killington. I have no control of the Rutland City Police putting any do not trespass on anybody in a Rutland City place. I understand the situation. Here I am. Not gonna use nicknames or anything, but I can't do anything, and I want it on record in the minutes that I, as a select board member, sitting on the bus, have no control of what goes on in Rutland City, with Rutland City giving no trespass. Deal with it on your own. Thank you.
There you go. And with that, we're adjourning at 11:23 a.m. Thank you all.
Go.
So Jade and whoever you want to sit around for a second. Finance, want to sit around.
That's good for you.
You guys take care. Great job.
Dropping.
No, I said, you know this.
Thank you. Take care.
Having a moment.
So close it out, Jan.